Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is AshQuest, and if you want to play Runebound, but you don't have Runebound, and you don't have Judgment of the Realm Lords, and you don't have Return of the Heroes, and you don't have World of Warcraft, the board game, no, not World of Warcraft, the adventure board game, those are two totally separate things, then you probably also don't have Under the Shadow of the Dragon, Lutz Stepanat's 2004 follow-up to Return of the Heroes, and the second in a series of such games, which total 3, the third of which sadly never having made it to US shores. But you could get Under the Shadow of the Dragon on the second-hand market, and that's pretty much the video. Under the Shadow of the Dragon is a quest-taking game that was made by Fantastic Adventures and distributed by Pegasus Press. Yes, that is Pegasus Spiel. And it retains the exact gameplay, artwork, components, style. While introducing some new elements and mechanics, it can be played as a standalone board game or as an expansion to its predecessor, or its predecessor can be played as an expansion to it. That's right. Under the Shadow of the Dragon is completely independent, but it can be combined with Return of the Heroes. You can see from my recent Return of the Heroes unboxing that pretty much all of the elements are arranged the exact same way on the back of the box. We are still ages 10 and up with a session lasting about 90 minutes, but this time, this is a 2-player experience. Now, I can't imagine that it would be difficult at all to just take the single-player mechanics from Return of the Heroes and bring it over to this game in order to have a solo experience. All that said, things are a little bit different here from the first game. A terrible dragon has been terrorizing your homeland for quite some time. Who will be able to confront this creature of eternity? Courage alone will not be enough to win this battle. Ancient scrolls hold the secret of how to make a mighty magic weapon. It is not until you have equipped yourself with such a special artifact that you may take up your quest of bringing the creature's reign of terror to an end. Are you ready to take on this task? You gather experience, treasure, and artifacts on 9 different region maps. In doing so, you will encounter creatures you will have to fight, such as the Yeti or the Lion Bear. You will meet helpful creatures, such as the Unicorn or the Juggler. Your journey will lead you to the City of the Mages, up to the Gate of the Underworld, and atop White Mountain. But time is short. For your enemy, the terrible dragon may well strike at any time to thwart your plans. The players need to find one of 3 scrolls to create a magic weapon, the only means of defeating the monster. We have a specification here that says that this game can be used as an expansion set for a 5th and 6th player to enjoy Return of the Heroes. You can also make up new characters, heroic deeds, and enemies by clicking on, well, you can't really click on the box here. I've tried. Nothing seems to work. But you can go to pegasus-web.com. And by that I mean, no, you can't, because I just tried and it wants a login as soon as the page loads in. There's nothing there but a login screen, so I guess that's defunct. When I say the presentation is the same, I mean it still looks like we had a beautifully painted background just completely supplanted with clip art images that were independently produced, arranged, and dropped onto the image. But the first game has shown me that if this is consistent enough, it's really nothing to complain about. It is kind of the flavor of the game, at least of its aesthetic. And the presentation is pretty identical to the previous game in that we have all of our components laid out for us. This time, a bag of these gems rather than a vial container. Not vile, like it's evil and disgusting, but just never mind. We have our 5d6, black with gold pips. They are made of wood. They feel great in the hand as someone who is a HeroQuest enjoyer. We have another bag of chits here, not chits, wooden pieces, experience cubes, gold coins, markers for houses. We have a bag that will house our gameplay elements from which we will draw to create a sense of randomness. The game comes with standees, not miniatures, and I said this in my Return of the Heroes unboxing, but I think standees really fits the flavor of this whole experience anyway. I actually don't think that miniatures would elevate it. I think that they would create a strange sense of unimmersion, if you can believe that. But if you have played this game with miniatures and you would rather proxy with miniatures, let me know. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. We have different characters. We have different chits and tokens, which tragically were maybe somehow sorted into these 12 wells that I deeply appreciate in any board game's storage design, but flipping the box around to show you has caused a bit of a calamity, a bit of a ruckus. a bit of a pickle for me to solve later. Well, that's for future me. I can show you some of these tokens, and I will here momentarily. But first, I want to show you the heroes. This time around, we only have a handful. We've got Milo Brandybuck, and here I'll be repeating the anatomy from Return of the Heroes, but the hero boards here are basically the same. We have a selection of hearts, and then we have a division and more hearts. So is that a benefit from when we level up? Is this our current maximum? And then these are future maximums, or a future maximum if we are to acquire this level up in health. We start with 3 gold coins. We can move 2 spaces, and all of the characters have this sort of precious stone here. We have blue outlined squares and yellow outlined squares, perfectly fit for these chits to go into. Perhaps these are tasks that we can store up and have active on our character, whereas the yellows are for equipment, such as this +1 strength buff that cost 3 gold coins. Worry not, the gold coins that are made of wood in this bag should help us track our gold. We have 3 combat stats: magic, ranged, and melee, and each of these have different numbers depending on the specialty of that character that you've selected. We've got tracks along which experience points cubes will be placed or moved, and we have tiers that will show how many dice we can roll for that combat stat as the dice requirements, or the experience cube requirements, are met. The player boards, 3 of which are included with this game, are double-sided, so each side has got the opposite gender. Primula Brandybuck is Milo's counterpart, and man, oh man, she's not a hobbit, and yet they really went as close as they could. Wodan of Sunhill, very Dark Souls vibes from this character. The female is very Lucy Lawless coded. I mean, this could very well just be a picture of Lucy Lawless's face. This looks like Xena, warrior princess, yelling at anything. A mythical demonic creature, a pack of thieves, a pot of coffee that caught her off guard. Gabriella when she even glances at a man. Freya of Sunhill. Yeah, I like the enraged expression quite a bit, actually. And then we have Grothmoog, who is undoubtedly the star of this entire box. Grothmoog is an orc. He may exchange 1 experience cubes for gold pieces. He said, "Me no need to learn. Me can trade learn for gold. When sell learn, forget thing. Earn gold piece." And his gorgeous counterpart, Grothmaga, who is she? Who would play her? Slay Queen. And she will. Probably many people. Horribly, painfully. Another side effect of having jostled the contents, we have our heroic deeds, of which there are only 3. The Bow of Perfect Aim, the Axe of Brag, and the Lyre. And I'll tell you how these work. These basically are multi-objective quests that will take you all around a given map. And the map will be laid out differently each time you play, so even if you draw the same heroic deed the next session, it could play out quite a bit differently because of the travel that it's actually going to take. And we'll get to what travel means by looking at the game's map tiles here shortly. But if you have succeeded in a ranged combat trial, the Phoenix on tile X8 has given you the scroll for the creation of a magic bow. Take it to the Keeper of the Forest in Y7 and have him carve a Staff of Ash out of the Wood of Ash for you, ranged combat trial. Take the scroll and the Staff of Ash to Rondell on T6. He will then create a magic bow of perfect aim. Discard both the scroll and the Staff of Ash and turn the Rondell counter over. You may now try to vanquish the dragon in ranged combat by using this bow. And if you are astute and have followed the pattern, you will see that the dragon can be now attempted in close combat using this axe, or in magic combat using this lyre. Given that this game is only for 2 players, you'll have one of these 3 heroic deeds, and thus have the potential to play 3 very different games and a series of kinda different, kinda the same games. Speaking of the dragon, we have possibilities for that, different endings here, and again, the plastered all over the cards would be our game company logo for Fantastic Adventures. Something I wish they hadn't done, but we've got it on the back of pretty much everything here, unless the specific chit has to be double-sided. I'm surprised it's not on the reverse side of the standees. But we have our red dragon, may only be hit by the magic weapons, Axe of Brag, Lyre of Orpheus, or Bow of Perfect Aim. The skeleton dragon, which has the same flavor text, causes double damage in ranged combat, and I can kind of guess that the next dragons are going to cause double damage in the other forms of combat as well. Yes, this is a magic combat advantage dragon here, and the golden dragon, which causes double damage in close combat. So you might ask, well, what's so special about the red dragon? Nothing. He just has one additional heart. But still, 4 different ending challenges. I like that. The book of rules is short. I mean, it's 22 pages, but a lot of it is built-in glossary, something the first game actually had also, but it was presented as a separate booklet. The glossary takes up pages 14 through 23, while pages 12 and 13 explain how to use this with Return of the Heroes. The dragon now serves as the Nameless's rival for control of the kingdom. Both eye one another carefully, knowing well that neither is powerful enough to defeat the other. The moment a hero slays the dragon, the Nameless, along with all his servants and guards, will vanish into obscurity. For an enemy powerful enough to defeat the mighty dragon must surely be a match for the Nameless too. Thus, the game ends when the dragon has been vanquished. On the other hand, if a hero defeats the Nameless, the dragon will take his clue and depart the kingdom for the time being. For an enemy powerful enough to slay the Nameless must surely be a match for the dragon too. The game also ends when the Nameless has been slain. Does that say that twice? Am I crazy? If a hero defeats the Nameless versus if the Nameless has been slain? When you combine both games, the following rule changes apply. No player gets a heroic deed at the beginning of the game. Instead, the heroes have to apply to the king to get any. The dragon begins the game in the bag. As soon as he is drawn, the 6 special dragon counters are put into the bag. The Nameless is not put into the bag until a player has fulfilled the first part of a heroic deed. If a mage is chosen as a hero, the player may forfeit his starting 3 gold pieces and opt for a spell from among the City of Mages counters.
And of course, the game ends when either the dragon or the Nameless has been killed.
All 25 region maps, because you'll have 16 from the first game. I say first, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the first. And 9 in this one, but that's 25 region maps. They're shuffled together and laid out in a square 5x5 grid. That is so cool. And I love this note here, you may want to start looking for a larger table now. All of the 50 covered counters are also shuffled and distributed according to the basic rules. All open counters are put into the bag except for these. Finally, the Nameless card is shuffled. So there are a few more notes to go over, but 12 pages of rules is really not a big ask. The game doesn't seem to have a lot of elements, but I can tell that it is very much an immersive and very journeying type of game. And there are 3 possible victory outcomes when Under the Shadow of the Dragon is used as a 2-player game, standalone. A major victory for a player who defeats the dragon, a minor victory for a player whose hero survives when the other player is defeated by the dragon, and a dragon victory when the dragon defeats one or both players. In the basic game, it is possible for the dragon to win and one player to score a minor victory by not challenging the dragon in time. So we do have a bit of a time aspect. Although I wouldn't say it's probably very high stakes. It's probably just you have a very clear window and you might have to be trying to not challenge the dragon in time. But we have our tiles here and they are lettered differently from the first stack of tiles in, I need to stop saying first, in the other game. They are lettered differently. I'm repeating several things here that I said in my video for Return of the Heroes, but there is a third game which is called Heroes in Their Underwear. No, wait, hold on. Helden in der Unterwelt, and that is Heroes in the Underworld, excuse me. It adds even more tiles and some player versus player interactions and a lot of Grecian themes and elements to the game. I would really like to get my hands on that, actually. It sounds awesome. These tiles are wildly varying in biome, with the snowlands here being a stark contrast to the desert presented on the next tile. You'll see a lot of the 3D artwork here. And you can kind of put together how these were made. It kind of looks like we started off with a terraforming software and created our base, then carved out paths for the pathing between nodes, then a little bit of drag and drop elements from our clip art database. The scale's all over the place. It's a lot of 3D elements placed at varying and oftentimes conflicting angles and scales, but all of that's fine, because like I said, when it's used consistently enough, your brain shuts off that part that's constantly trying to judge the accuracy of it. And then finally, these numbers placed on these tokens and littered about in the appropriate junctions. This graveyard looks really cool. We had some really cool tiles in Return of the Heroes, and these definitely match the crazy style and all over the place aesthetic of those tiles. I honestly think they're just fine as is. These 3D assets being dropped onto these maps really appeals to me for some reason, although it does give major Windows 2000 vibes, and I'm not quite sure why. It's almost like taking me back to the days of RuneScape and maybe shareware on CDs. Does anybody remember those? This map region, I think, has the most spaces out of any of them that I've seen so far. Oh, and here comes this one to just completely blow me away on every front. We've got 12 spaces on this region map, and this crazy structure. This looks like it should be in a Pajama Sam game or Spy Fox. It's nuts. Granted, this was 2004, and this game was probably being designed in 2003, so the mindset probably very much was, oh my gosh, I have access to such cool software. I'm gonna go crazy. So yeah, why not take the eyeball and just put it on top of the tower and our giant glass vial, and we'll just put a roof on that, and now that's a location. Yeah, that works just fine. You'll notice some of the nodes are different colors as well. Like we have V5 here, which is red, V9, which is right on this dragon skull cave, a labyrinth here for the U tile, lots of dead ends. I really appreciate the work that went into this one. Like, it doesn't matter. The elements of the labyrinth itself hold no meaning. Maybe there are special mechanics that come with the U. Maybe you have to trace through, and then the first node that you can settle upon is one that you do settle upon. Or maybe you can travel to whatever other node you want. I doubt that that's the case, because you have to stop at 5 before you can get to 2 from 4. But maybe, I don't know the rule yet. Hey, this one looks really magical. The fairies from Return of the Heroes make a return, so Return of the Fairies in flying up and wishing us a hello, but these fairies look starkly different from the fairies on that board. And that more or less is Under the Shadow of the Dragon. First couple of pages are a word from the author and our table of contents, which shortens the actual rule set by a significant amount more. For your first game, they want you to sort the maps alphabetically with the region map R on the top left and the region map Z bottom right. And next to the letter, there's a small arrow indicating north. Align all the region maps accordingly. Each player chooses one of the 3 heroes and reads through the hero's special skills as listed on the character sheet. Provide your hero with an appropriate amount of natural hit points represented by the dark red hearts above the line and gold represented by the number within the gold coin. So the natural hit points are the ones above the line. Now see, I had that backwards from the first time I looked at these games because to me it was inconceivable that a character should only have 3 hearts and then gain an additional 5. But maybe you don't ever gain 5. Maybe it's just in certain rare occasions, your character may be able to drink a potion or gain some sort of buff where they can obtain 1 or 2 or more hearts that go above their natural maximum. That would make sense to me. The nodes are called fields. Movement is represented by the foot, and that does represent how many fields you can travel on your turn. The halfling here, for example, has 2, the warrior 3, and the orc 4. It is not possible to exit one edge of the map and reappear on the opposite side. There are no Pac-Man rules here. Under the Shadow of the Dragon is firmly set in a flat world. The counters in the bag all have their own colors, which represent what type they are, and I think that that's fantastic. I do wish there was a little bit of maybe symbology that would have been mixed in with that in case a player has any form of color blindness. Encounters are green borders. Tasks are blue borders, which we have looked at a few of those. I think we'll look at them shortly. And combat is red borders. Now, I don't know what the difference would be between an encounter and combat, so we'll read that. Such persons or events may be used once per turn with no upper limit to their total usage. If you do not want to make use of an encounter, you may continue moving. If you make use of an encounter, this counts as an action and ends your movement phase. Once an encounter has been used for the first time, the counter remains face up in its field, usable by everyone. The glossary provides you with a list of all encounters. See, I thought it would be combat because that's Cerberus, which is a 3-headed dog or dragon or something. That looks like a monster you would fight. And that, Ash, is what we call a subconscious bias. Just because it looks like a monster does not mean you need to attack it as one. It may be a merchant. It may be the princess transformed into a horrifying beast. It may be the princess transformed into a more visually appealing form. Counters with red borders represent creatures. They necessitate immediate combat. Combat is always the first action after movement. As soon as a player uncovers a creature or moves onto an already uncovered creature, combat ensues automatically, and the movement phase is immediately ended. You only need to spend 1 turn of play to fight any creature. The exception is fighting the dragon. A colored circle on the creature counter indicates which skill is needed to defeat the creature. A blue circle means it may be attacked in magic combat. Blue, denoting magic on the character board, or character sheet as the game called it. Green is ranged, and red is magic. I'm sorry, red is close combat. I'm all over the place today. To fight a creature, you need to roll just 1 trial in one of the skills colored circles on the words. Oh, the sword. Patches, you got me again. To fight a creature, you need to roll just 1 trial in one of the skills indicated by the colored circles on the counter. If a number within the circle indicates a modifier, you need to subtract that amount from your skill value before rolling the dice. I thought I was having a stroke. I would tell you more about this, but I think I've told you enough. I'll show you some of the tiles, and then we will put everything back into the box, which will be a matter of moments. Here's our skeleton combat encounter, our stick, our stick. What were these again? What are the yellows? The stick. Yellow. Oh, it goes on. There are more. I shut that prematurely. Artifacts are yellow borders. And finally, encounter. No, I already said what encounters were. Artifact. Artifact. That's what the stick is. And I agree. Stick, artifact. Stick, best artifact. This is the juggler, and he's going to haunt my nightmares, so now he's going to haunt yours. Welcome to a contemporary version of the ring. This artifact is called the water skin. This artifact is called clairvoyance. This is the dragon, may only be attacked with magic weapons. This encounter is called the garbage dump, and I suppose it needs to be put on S2 if it's drawn from the bag. Is that what's going on here? Greens are encounters that can happen over and over and over again. I don't know why this one's black with the picture on the other side, but that is that crazy tower with the eyeball and vial with roof. Then we have Orcon on Y5, and I suppose this is a character. The ferryman brings the characters to the island and back for 1 gold piece. And now, more or less, that is Under the Shadow of the Dragon, a game that, again, can't wait to internalize the rule set of and play in earnest because it looks so dang cool, and I'd probably play this once or twice before merging its contents with Return of the Heroes. I'm sure I would play Return of the Heroes a few times, maybe several, to get the hang of that, and then I would just merge them nonstop, because how cool would it be to have a 5x5? I guess you are wanting to see what these look like, and so am I, when they are laid out appropriately on the table. So just kind of going as randomly as I can muster, this is one way that all of your map regions will go onto the table. And with the letters legible and the compass arrows facing up, which is pretty redundant, you can see all the paths link. You can get to any of the map tiles from any other map tile. No need to detour unless you feel it's necessary to do so to avoid specific encounters that have been revealed onto the board. You could just as easily take these out and randomly assign them and have a layout that looks more like this one. You could decide to be deliberate about it, which I would see no problem with, and make sure all of your snow tiles are together. Actually, it would make perfect sense to make sure your snow is together, make sure your forests are together, although these aren't necessarily representative of being that close to each other in the real world or in the world in which this takes place, because, I mean, you've got this beautiful starlight lake, and obviously the graphic does not extend onto the next tile, because the tile could be any of them, and they didn't want to account for putting the graphics in continuation on everything. So you can imagine these are some ways away from each other when you are traveling from, say, S10 to Y8. Still though, love that. Want to see this played on the channel? If I can get the solo rules internalized and brought over, then just say so down below. And if you think I should get the third game and unbox that here on the channel, I will do that too, because even though the rules are in German, we could translate those, right? And the pieces that we would be able to acquire, we could translate those as well. Might be a fair bit of homebrew involved, but it could be done. Brave Heroes, thank you so much for your kind attention today. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and found something that you are interested in. This box is noticeably lighter than its predecessors, and admittedly, I would say firmly this does contain less content in pretty much every way imaginable, but that doesn't mean that it's worth less to have, especially considering the fact you can combine it with the other game, the other accessible game. For those of you who are German, well, you've got the best of all three worlds already. I will see you in the next exciting adventure. Until then, brave heroes, I bid you farewell for now.